Hey everybody, KC here. So as we head into the Thanksgiving weekend, I wanted to suggest that if you've got about an hour and a half to spare, you can pull yourself away from eating, football, and maybe a little bit of shopping. There's a documentary I think you should watch on Netflix, and it's called It Ain't Over. And it starts with a woman named Yogi Berra, talking on camera. And she's talking about how she's watching the 2015 All-Star Game. And at that point in the All-Star Game, before it started, they basically introduced the people they said were the four greatest living ball players. Hank Aaron, Johnny Bench, Sandy Koufax, and Willie Mays. Four greatest living baseball players. And she turned to the guy sitting next to her and basically said, "Did you die?" Because the person she was sitting next to is Yogi Berra. And basically the documentary makes the case, I think really persuasively, that Yogi Berra's career may have been as great as all those guys, certainly as great a player as any of them. Listen, he was a catcher for the New York Yankees. He was the most valuable player 3 times. He was an all-star 15 consecutive seasons. He got 10 World Series rings. Now, he didn't look like a ball player because he wasn't cut from the same cloth as somebody like Joe DiMaggio. But man, he was a great ball player. I'm old enough to remember watching Yogi Berra play. And he was an extraordinary player. He was also whip smart. The documentary makes the point that this is a guy who knew how to manage a game as the catcher. And he is the guy who caught the perfect game that Don Larson threw in the 1956 World Series. It was also the reason he was a really good manager, right? He understood how to manage a game. He understood everything that was going on in the field. He was also a war hero. He was on a rocket boat off Normandy on D-Day. In fact, he got wounded and he declined the Purple Heart because he didn't want to worry his mother. And listen, he's known for his yogiisms more than anything else, right? But the documentary makes a really good case, which is that you can't just judge people by the things that are obvious, right? It's important to give them a chance to live up to their potential, to give them new challenges, to let them rise to the occasion, as opposed to just sort of giving them the things you think they can handle. I think that's a really good thing for every manager to do, not just managers on the baseball field. That's what every employer should do. Look at the people you have working for you and figure out a way, how do I get the most out of them, which is going to be really good for my business, but it's also going to be really good for them because I'm going to allow them, I'm going to enable them, I'm going to empower them to reach their potential. Now listen, the movie takes its title from a very famous yogiism, right? It ain't over till it's over. But the piece of advice, the yogiism that I really, really liked is not one of those. It's actually a bit of advice that Derek Jeter in the documentary says that Yogi Berra gave to him. He goes, "This is the most important thing about baseball. When you see a strike, hit it." Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That's what's on my mind this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.